In 1 Corinthians 15, we learn that the gospel, which is the power of God that brings salvation, the gospel is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ for our sin according to the Scripture. And that phrase, according to the Scripture, is important because we realize that our sin was not a surprise to God. God knew that we were going to sin, and God provided a way. He made a plan so that sinful mankind could be brought into a right relationship with Him. That plan was the gospel. All throughout the Old Testament, God speaks about the gospel, the way that He was in the process of providing for us. For example, in Micah chapter 5 and verse 2, we learn that the Messiah, the one that God promised would come, would be born in Bethlehem, and His goings forth would be from everlasting. In Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 14, we find the Bible tells us that the Messiah would be born of a virgin, that God Himself would provide this as a sign. And of course, we understand that Jesus was born of a virgin. In Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 9, the Bible tells us that Jesus would make His grave with the wicked and with the rich in His death. And we see that taking place, that Jesus was crucified between two wicked thieves, and He was buried in the tomb of a rich man, Joseph of Arimathea. You see, the gospel is not a new thing. The gospel is God's plan all along, and those are just 3 of the over 300 prophecies in the Old Testament pointing to this plan that God was providing so that we could be made right with Him. You see, the gospel was God's plan all along. God knew that you and I would sin against Him. God knew that we would be separated because of that sin. God loved us, and He provided a way. Before we were even born, He provided a way for us to be right with Him. And that way is through the gospel of Jesus Christ.